Hello everyone, I'm Quill, and welcome to my Evolution of a Horde base series for Alpha 19. In this series, I'll show you the Horde base I've built over the week, what it takes to build it, and how it fares against the Horde, and starting with the next episode, I'll show you some reinforcements that can be added, and for each episode afterwards, we'll continue to build, add traps, and so on until we deem the base complete. Keep in mind that this version of the base is intended for an early game Horde, or for someone with a lower game stage. Anyone can build it, but depending on your game stage, you'll want to beef it up or check out the next video to see how I've fortified it. As you can see, the design for this base is a type of box fort. However, the reason that I'm picking that is because I want this to be a melee focus. Alright, thank you and enjoy. What we're going to start with is a nice flat area. I've picked one right here, kind of just in the middle of a town. It's a nice distance away from all of these POIs, and so we're actually going to build right about here. So as you can see, I've cleared out a nice area, and we can go ahead and start by placing down our center block. Okay, so with the center block down, we're actually going to take and expand all four sides out by 4 rows. And once that's done, we're going to take and carve everything out to make a square. That's going to be our working area for this version, for this part of the Horde base. Okay, so as you can see, we have our foundation down. It is a 9 by 9 square block. Of course, there's going to be a plane flying overhead. Where you at? Ooh, that's close. Mark that for later. Okay, so as you can see, our foundation is finished. It is a 9 by 9 square. And what I did was I actually fortified the next spots that we're going to build on. These corners are where we're going to put our pillars. So the furthermost corner and then one inward. And we're going to make pillars 4 blocks tall. So do that for each of them. Alright, and once you've got them built, they should look just like that, and you can go ahead and reinforce them at least once. So the reason that I'm using just regular wood instead of just going up to concrete and stuff like that is this is intended as a build that someone who is new on a server or is getting ready for one of their first or second Horde nights. So I wanted to use materials that people have available around that time. I'm gonna actually run it through the Horde, I think maybe 2 or 3 times. We'll see how it goes. Okay, and so with our foundation complete, our pillars done, next thing we're going to do is connect the top 2 rows of the pillars to each other, and we're going to do that all around the base. Remember, the name of the game is Box Fort, so if you can see one side done, you're pretty much going to duplicate that on every side. I know box forts aren't the prettiest, but they are effective, especially at the beginning of the game. So we're going to take and we're going to run with that for a bit, but if you keep an eye out for the next episode, I'm actually going to start changing it up as we go, because this, while it is a Horde base for now, I want to show you that it can be just a normal base as well. It can easily be expanded on, and once you've got a nice fortified spot, it's not going to be too hard to hold back a Horde. Alright, so now that all of the pillars are connected, we're actually going to go ahead and add in a lip on the top row. The reason that we're placing this is so that whenever we're fighting against the Horde, spider monkeys won't be able to climb up the entire thing and just, drop in on us. Or, destroy the base from the top. So Go ahead and just place them and then upgrade the blocks. Alright, perfect. So we've got the base is for the most part done, except for a few more things. Oh. Hey man, it's not ready yet. Come back on day 7. That was nice. Alright, so for this last part, what we're going to do is instead of placing normal square blocks like this, we're actually going to change them. The reason for it is I've tested this design out, and whenever you use this square block, so you use that square block, let's go ahead and fortify one, I'll show you. You can't actually see, you know, you can't see this area right here. That is a problem because when the spider monkeys can't climb, or you've got dogs and all that, they tend to get stuck down here, and so with square blocks you can't actually, you know, hit them. At least not with melee. You've got to wait for them to jump, and it's really a kind of pain in the ass. So instead, what we're going to do is if you hold R and select shape, type wedge up at the top, and we're going to select wood frame wedge. Once we've got our wedge block, what we're going to do is we're going to hold R and we're going to go to advance. What the advanced mode will do is instead of just spinning in the 4 normal directions, we'll actually get some more options. So the way that we want to do it is with the small flat part on the top and then the slope facing out towards where the zombies will be. Reason for this is it'll let them start to run up on the slope, but we'll still be able to hit them, and it'll keep enough distance between us that they can't, they usually can't attack us, or they'll actually hit the top block above us instead of us. Obviously, they can still hit us every now and then, especially if we're not playing safe, but I mean, it's better than nothing. Now, one thing you might have noticed is that I did not leave a doorway to the base. That is intentional, because if you put the doorway in, the zombies tend to target it, because it's the easiest path to get to you. Whereas if there is no door, they kind of just go nuts on everything. This is actually good and intentional because they won't fixate on one part of the base throughout the Horde night. They'll continuously be moving from one side to the other, so no side takes too much damage. Whereas if we have a door on one side, that's going to be the side that typically gets hit with all of the zombies. So what we're going to do is whenever we need to access it, we're actually going to nerd pull up for now. We'll change it later, but we'll nerd pull up and have a hatch. Alright, so now that we've got that, what we're going to do is go ahead and seal in the top. And yeah, we'll be done in just a moment. Okay, and so with that, we're going to go ahead and make a couple ladder pieces and a hatch. Right there. So yeah, we've got the base here, and now all that's left to do is to go ahead and start upgrading it to get it as high as possible. I'm going to bring it all the way up to cobblestone, just because again, that's what people usually have access to by their first Horde night. Some people rush and get, you know, concrete. That's great. Not everybody's in that situation. So look at it this way. If this thing can withstand a Horde at cobblestone level, it can definitely withstand one at concrete. I'm just going to go ahead and upgrade it, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's finished. So as you can see, I finished upgrading the base to cobblestone. I've also added a couple more features, such as these torches. And on the inside, I put some candles. The reason for this is just to give it some light. They're not permanent fixtures, just because eventually we'll have, you know, like a helmet light mod or something like that. But for now, just so we can actually see the hordes, I toss those up. I've also made a couple more changes where I've added in these hatches. So the hatches actually have 2 parts. one of them is that in case a cop shows up and he's spitting, he's too far away, we can actually close these hatches really quick, and he'll end up hitting those instead of us. The other reason is because if something is occupying this block space, dogs can't slip through. Whereas if it looked like this, where there's nothing, dogs, I've already tested it, will run and just jump straight through, and yeah, they're kind of a pain. Spider monkeys don't, but dogs do, so. Also vultures, I've had like 1 or 2 fly in. So in order to do this, what you're going to do is select a hatch. I use wooden ones just because you can easily tell which way they're going to open up based off of the 3 prongs. So once you have your hatch, select on face, and then just look up at the top. And put it to where the 3 blocks are out, so whenever you open it, it faces that way instead of inside. The hatches, again, you can kind of take them or leave them. I prefer them just because even if we don't drop them down to stop a spitter, they still prevent things from being able to climb through the hole, you know, like a crawler or something like that. So I find they get their worth that way. Let's see, besides that, I think we've got some more spikes in here. I'll show you what I've done on the inside. So we just got our normal hatch, and like I said, I've got some candles just to help provide some light. And of course you can still reach all of these things from here. So, I also added this chest up on the roof. It's not going to be there forever, it's just kind of for the first Horde base, or Horde night. So we can throw our stuff in it real quick. Another perk that I will say from this base is that by using these slopes, if a loot bag drops right along the edge, you can grab it from in here. I'll try to show that off tonight. Besides that, I'm going to go ahead and lay out some spikes. The spikes really aren't needed because, like I said, whenever they... oh geez. Whenever they start to... whenever the Horde comes and they start to attack, since there's no door, what I found is that they just kind of run around the base. They'll start, like, they'll all group up on one side, and then after about 3 or 4 minutes, they all start spawning from another side. Another thing I found is that if you put these spikes down, sometimes the zombies will actually get stuck in a running animation. Again? That's my fault. Where are you dropping it? Did you drop it already? Yep. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Let's just put a quick... I'll go grab that later. Okay. So yeah, like I was saying, if you throw down these spikes, you can, they'll usually just take and run around the perimeter. If I recall, you only need 40 spikes to do the first layer, and I think 44 to do the second, but we'll find out in a second. And another good thing is, at least without the hatches, I know you can place spikes back down, so if they get broken, you can place them from inside the base. Usually not on the... good lord. Usually not on the spot that's, you know, right up next to you, like that first row, but you can usually place them in the second row. I haven't tested it with the hatches. I'll try that in a minute. Alright, well, I've got 1 extra spike, that's fine. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. This is ready for the first Horde night. I am going to be doing it strictly melee, just to see how that goes. So, as you can see, I don't have a gun on me, I have no ammo. All I've got's a bow, no arrows, and the bow is gone. So, in order to get into the base and not lose too many blocks, I usually take and build up like this. That's good enough. And so you can actually pick them up. Later on, we will build a, we'll build an actual entrance, but for now, we're just gonna roll with it that way. So, yeah. Oh, and let's test out the spike thing. Yes. Yes, you can. Okay, so it's a little bit touchy, but you can still place them. You just got to aim your mouse right. So, well, that's it. So the next thing we're going to do is take on the Horde, and see you there. Alright, here we go. Got the first little group coming. Let's see how this does. So we got a dog right away. That's okay. We can't quite reach him yet, but so between the spikes and the bleed damage from this is not going to be too difficult at all. So as you can see, the dog's trying to break in, but he can't because of that because of the hatches. As you can see, they're not attacking anything else yet, but like I said, that's what we anticipated. Soon they will start spawning on the other sides and leave this one alone for the most part. I can reach the loot bags from here as well, or, you know, even if I wanted to carve up the dog, it is possible. Another good thing about the hatches, I'm not sure if y'all are hearing the noise, but they are mainly attacking the hatches, so these bottom parts are for the most part still completely good, as well as the top. So alright, this guy has started moving on to the other side, so I anticipate the others will start to do that as well. Don't know why I had a shovel there, but hey, that worked out.
I'm in danger!
Even though they completely decimated this area, they're now focusing over here and on these spikes for some reason. Like I said, with no door, they tend to just rotate around the base, so no one side takes too much damage. You might still get a wolf or something getting inside, but usually it's not that big a deal. Okay, well, looks like the Horde is stopping for a minute. We'll take and repair all this as much as we can. Usually they're back by now, but I think I know what's going on. Pretty much my game stage is still, I mean, it's low, so Horde isn't always going to last the entire night. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to back out and rejoin in a second. Okay, yeah, so since I backed out and came back in, the Horde is back because it's considered a fresh instance. So yeah, we can just grind this out. This is part of why I said that we need the slopes. is originally normally you wouldn't be able to hit the spider monkey where he's at. What we can do is wait for him to get close. There we go. So yeah, not too bad. It took took a little bit more of a beating than I anticipated. The base itself came out fine, but you know, I took more damage than I expected. This is my first time doing it with the knife, so I still think it was pretty successful. Just not too bad. Lost quite a few of the hatches, but they ended up taking more of the beating than anything else. So as you can see, the base itself is still solid. So they were nowhere near breaking where they could break in. So that's awesome. I'll take it as a win.